especially nice for me to share the head table with some longtime friends, Rudy Costello, Gladys Crespo, and former teammate Kenny Spears. That made it a little extra special for me. I'm happy to receive this Fred Reichert Award. Sandy Silzicki was nice enough to tell me that Fred and I had some things in common. He was a jump ball and right-hander, and as Mark Windsor will tell you, so was I. I got to pitch a little bit at the end of my career, and I played as long as I could into my late 30s, as it appears that Fred did as well. I want to thank my family and friends that are here to share this honor with me this evening, especially my wife Amanda, who signed on to my baseball train, which has been lifelong. She knows how much baseball means to me, and that means the world to me. Thank you very much, Mandy. Also like to thank my friend Ed Sylvia, who's here, who's also friends with George, previous recipient. Ed gave me my first painting coaching job, although I've been talking hitting for a long time, and that led to a pretty long career. I'm still coaching now, and I'm thankful to Ed, I always will be. I also have two lifelong friends here from my old neighborhood, and to me the highlight of the night is to have Rich Schnell and Rich Schnell here to share this with me. I kind of accept this award tonight, not in memory, but going back to the days of kids that I grew up learning how to hit with. Between my parents and the kids I grew up with, it was a great time. I need to thank my late parents, Tarzan and Diane Ritano. I come from baseball people. My mother was probably as big, if not a bigger fan than my mom. My parents met in an American Legion game between West Ward and Norwalk, and that worked out pretty well for me and my three sisters and my brother. So I was going to tell you that to borrow Yogi Berra's line, I'd like to thank my parents for making this night necessary. So catch a laugh. Ever since Sandy called me to tell me, Sandy Silzicki, I've known for 40 years, that I was going to get this award, I've been thinking a little more about my playing days than my coaching days, which have been more recent, obviously. I grew up with a great bunch of kids in Fairfield. I must have had thousands of at-bats throwing the ball against the wall, and that's where I learned how to hit. Hitting has been my passion forever. I still talk about it now. I talked about it when I was younger. At a recent reunion, I had a girl I went all through elementary school remind me of a project they did in 4th grade where I taught the girls how to hit. She still remembered some of the stuff that I talked about then, and I thought that was one of the coolest things I ever heard. Excuse me, I've been a baseball junkie my whole life, pretty much since I started. And as I was telling Gladys earlier, I still enjoy putting those baseball shoes on today as much as I did in 1962. It's hard for me to describe to people how at home I feel when I'm sitting in the dugout, even though that now I've become Don Zimmer. I'm just the assistant coach. Both in body type and in role. I was very fortunate to play on a lot of good teams. I hit in the middle of a lot of formidable lineups. I see a lot of former teammates and opponents around the room today. I'd like to thank you all for having been part of my baseball journey, which hopefully is not over. I had the best of both worlds growing up. I had an Italian grandmother and an Irish grandmother. When I came home from the Connie Mack World Series in 1972, I had just turned 16. One of the greatest memories of my life. I know what table we were sitting at with my two grandmothers. They had obviously been plotting this question for me, and they said, and I quote, "Joey, do you really think you're going to do baseball your whole life?" And I did not hesitate. I said, "I hope so." Here we are 45 years later. I'm hoping to have 45 more. To me, that's really the best story I can share with you. Thanks again for this award. Thanks to all recipients. Enjoy the rest of your night.